Hello everyone, welcome back to Channel 4 Financial News. Today is September 20th, 2021. Paul Munichel from Ameriprise is my co-host, and I'm Ron Jankowski with Channel 4 in Palos Heights. And Paul, you have an update to give us what took place last week. And when you're done, I'm going to give you the last minute notes we got from Ameriprise for this morning's news.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to talk about what we're terming the bizarro world recovery in the market and how that may continue. You know, that term bizarro world was occasionally referenced on the TV show Seinfeld to describe situations when the world seemed upside down or the opposite of its usual nature. The term was originally introduced in the Superman comics of the 1960s to provide Earth's Superman an evil foe to battle that had like powers and was from a distant cube-shaped world. Comics of both definitions aside, the current economic recovery often brings the term to mind. In fact, so many aspects of the global economic environment are the opposite of what's historically been seen during economic recoveries that the term bizarro world seems to fit perfectly. Demand conditions in a host of categories from autos and housing to certain foods, chemicals, basic household items, and other products are simply not available in the quantities that consumers currently demand. Traditionally, the opposite is true, as it is normal demand that dictates the pace of recovery. Last week's retail sales report for August was expected to be a prime example of this phenomenon. Retail sales are forecast to have declined for a second straight month, primarily due to a lack of product availability. You simply can't buy what's not for sale. The one service category measured in the retail sales report, food services and drinking places, is also expected to be down due to the rising COVID outbreak during the period. Now, although the number of goods in very short supply is remarkably long, the most notable shortage, automobiles, has gotten even worse. From 2014 through 2019, U.S. auto dealers typically held 1 million new cars and trucks on their lots collectively. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. In June, dealers held just 136,700 vehicles, a drastic difference. And that's according to the same bureau. Just 13.4% of their pre-pandemic norm. So yes, those car supply is significantly lower. It's data to look at. It's all things that typically have an effect on the market. It goes beyond autos as things we've mentioned. So it's worth noting, and maybe that's a little bit of why the market's been correcting last week, and it looks like into the start of this week. We'll see. Maybe the bizarro world is turning back into normal world, but again, like always with the market, it's wait and see.
Well, I purchased all the latest technology equipment for Channel 4.
Good for you.
Guess what? You can hardly buy cameras. I mean, if you're going to buy broadcast quality cameras, they're just not available. And if you're looking for something specific in electronics, if it isn't in the States, they won't even tell you when they're going to get it. I mean, it's just a deplorable situation.
It is, and thankfully for the Channel 4 viewers, you had the foresight to get that stuff while you could.
Yes.
Because who knows what the quality, of your filming would be like without the equipment that you guys, as I know, Channel 4, you and Carl and the staff, you're constantly improving the cameras and the microphones and the technology.
We're always trying to upgrade to the latest technology.
I think people at home maybe even take it for granted. They don't realize what's going on behind the scenes here.
Well, as long as we look good on TV,
It's just a
You
seamless
really
plug
care
for you and Carl. I wanted to put that in there, but it is the truth. You guys are always improving what you're doing here.
But yes, you're right. We did have some foresight. We saw what was happening a few months back, and I did order a lot of things, and most of what I ordered is here today. Still, we're short, but we'll pay our dues and wait our time, and hopefully we'll get the merchandise and electronics that we need to keep the maintenance of our Channel 4 operation going.
It's tough because it's everything. You go to the grocery store, you know,
see
my
empty
daughter
shelves.
wants certain things for breakfast, and I said they're out. They don't have it right
Right.
now, and it's almost like you got to kind of buy what you can get at certain
Exactly.
times.
Now, there's a run on paper again.
I didn't hear that one, but
Well, anyway, some of the stores, putting signs up limiting either paper towels or toilet paper or whatever.
back to that.
I guess, and I suppose it depends on the store too. Depends on what they're allocated to get in for inventory. Well, I received a note from Ameriprise this morning giving us the information that's taken place. The U.S. stocks are headed for a weaker open with the S&P 500 futures down more than 1% early trading today.
Looks like an ugly start to Monday morning. Again, it's maybe this bizarro world norm is turning back to normal because data has not been strong in a lot of areas, and the market may be due for a bit of a correction.
It looks that way. We're due for a correction, don't you think?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. U.S. Treasury yields are lower ahead of this week's Federal Reserve policy meeting, and the Hang Seng Index shed 3.3% overnight, while equity markets in Japan and mainland China were closed for a holiday.
Yep, I mean, we've said it over and over again, it's a global economy, and especially with COVID-type issues, it's a global pandemic. So if our market's down, chances are overseas is down ahead of us. And with regard to the bonds, you know, if the yield was down, like you said, means the price of bonds is up, maybe because people are buying bonds in fear of what may happen to the market.
Exactly. You're right on target. Global oil markets are lower with WTI crude nearing $70 a barrel as market participants grow increasingly risk averse. So,
There you go, same things again.
yep. Gas prices are going to fluctuate at the pump again. Well, thank you, Paul, for the update, and stay with us. We will be right back with the show called Your Money. Paul usually has a great topic to discuss with us. Stay with us. And we're back with Your Money. Thank you for staying with us. And Paul has an excellent topic for small businesses, retirement plans. What is that you would take on that, Paul?
Thanks, Ron. And I do want to talk about that. Small businesses are what keep this economy going and going in the right direction. So today I'm going to talk about retirement planning that those small businesses may have available to them. So, you know, if you're among the nation's more than 31 million small business owners, you're likely to spend most of your time juggling day-to-day activities of your business. While handling the here and now, it can be easy to put off planning for your retirement future. And if retirement planning has fallen on your back burner, it might be time to bring it back to your forefront. So as a small business owner, you deal with a different world of retirement plans than somebody who is employed by a more conventional manner, making it all the more important to closely explore your options when deciding what's right for you. Plan options to consider. Let's look at what the self-employed individuals or business owners should be sure to look to fund their IRAs. That's a basic one, as much as possible. In 2021, the annual limit for 2021 is $6,000 for an IRA, $7,000 for those age 50 and up. Now, funding IRAs is only a starting point. There are a few other options for business owners to consider. One of them is the solo or the individual 401k. This is the offshoot of the traditional 401k plan that can be established if you and your spouse are the only employees of your business. It offers the ability to direct the largest potential contribution annually. Believe it or not, in some situations, as much as $58,000 can be set aside in 2021, and potentially $62,500 if you're over age 50. Now, this comes from a combination of employer and employee contributions. There are initial costs and efforts needed to start and maintain the plan, as it does require a plan administrator. Earnings do grow on a tax-deferred basis, and contributions made by an incorporated business potentially can be deducted from business expenses. Now, for non-incorporated businesses, the owner potentially can deduct contributions from their personal income. Now, for those with employees, a full 401k plan can maybe be established, though different rules may apply. There's something called a SEP IRA, SEP IRAs, and this is a very similar in structure to that solo 401k with two main exceptions. Costs are minimal, and it does not require the support of a plan administrator, and it can cover employees. Now, in this plan, all contributions are made by the employer equal to no more than 25% of compensation, or a maximum, again, of $58,000 for the year 2021. The employer can determine what percentage of compensation to set aside each year, but it must be consistent for all employees, including the owner. There's also something called a simple plan. These plans allow for businesses with fewer than 100 employees to establish either a simple IRA or a simple 401k for each employee. Employees can make salary deferral contributions up to $13,500. Again, if you're over age 50, it could be as much as $16,500 for this year. Employers are obligated to provide a matching contribution in simple 401ks of 3% of compensation for employees who elected to defer, or 2% for employees who did not elect to make contributions. Your business, as a retirement asset, of course, monetizing the value of your business may be another way for you to fund your retirement. If your business can continue to operate successfully without you, then it should have value when it comes time to retire. Ideally, planning for any kind of business transition should start years before a sale occurs. Potentially selling your business to a current employee may be one option to consider, or you may want to look for potential outside buyers. As a business owner, you do have unique challenges, but unique opportunities when it comes to planning for a successful retirement. As always, we recommend talk to a financial advisor and a tax advisor about how to put together a strategy in place to assure your long-term financial security is in place. And again, if you're currently working with an advisor, that's great. But if you're not, or if you're looking for a second opinion, you can always give me a call directly at 708-226-3412, and we could see if there's a fit or if I can help in any way.
Paul, I had no idea the different options that they have to take into consideration for a small business.
They do. You know, when you work for a big corporation, it's somewhat easy. Here's your 401k options, pick your funds, and how much do you want to put in. Business owners got to set that all up, and there's different options, and depends on how you look at it, they may be advantageous over that big corporate plan, those SEPs and simple plans and the individual 401ks. So it's something you've got to take some time to explore. But again, if you're working with a professional, they can do all that legwork for you.
Right. That's very, very important, what you just closed with, having a financial advisor help you pull that together.
Yep, a tax advisor as well.
And a tax advisor.
Which, if you're a business owner, you probably have the tax advisor. The
Yeah.
financial advisor you may not have, but consider it.
Paul, thank you for the topic. For Paul Municle with Ameriprise Financial, myself, Ron Jankowski with Channel 4 and Bill's Heights, we wish you good investment day.